What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Dig It Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Walsh, and we're back with another panel. Today, we're going to switch it up, okay? Instead of diving deep into just one topic, we reached out to our listeners, our viewers, and asked if they had anything in regards to infield play, mindset, strategy, techniques that they might be struggling with whether you're a coach, whether you're a player, whether you're just a father, okay? Or a parent. So we're going to talk a lot about the questions that we got today. So again, look out for our stories. We're going to put stuff out there. DM us. Anything you're struggling with in regards to infield play, reach out with questions, and that's going to help us start to create this diagnostic segment that we're going to work on today, where we take questions in from you, and then we all break it down from different vantage points and start to give you ideas on what to work on and things you might look for, drills that may help out you get to where you want to go. So without further ado, our first question is from Mike S. out of Pennsylvania. Thank you, Mike. And his question was, my son keeps having trouble fielding the ball on his right side. All right, so he's having challenges fielding the ball middle, left to center. What do we got on that, guys? So a lot of the time, right, when we see that, it's just a timing issue, okay? So if I'm watching the infield, I hit him a routine ground ball. We call that lane 3, and he enters his last 2 steps right, left, and he fields up on his right foot. Well, what I'm seeing there is he didn't do a great job with his eyes and feet to get him to a right-left catch where his hands are in the middle of his body. So typically we'll talk to the infielder about, hey, maybe you arrived at your right-left catch a little too early, okay? So you went right, left, presented your hands, and now you're waiting for that ball to travel, and now your weight has nowhere to go but to your left side, all right? So if you think about, hey, I'm sitting there, I'm hitting, I'm looking for a fastball, and then you see a changeup, that's when you get leaky into that soft front side, and you just have your hands to use now. So in infield play, not only are you losing body control when you shift into a left hip, but now your hands are left out in no man's land behind your center of mass. And it's just very chaotic. We understand that where we receive the ball, right, and where we break the ball is the first throwing part of our throwing sequence. That's not where we want it, right? Like, it's not a perfect science, but anywhere middle of the body or slightly left of center is just going to promote momentum, rhythm, timing, fluidity. We've seen. What do you guys think when you see infielders consistently, like, it's going to happen? We're human. We may misread the pace of the ground ball. The ball may spike up or check up on us when we didn't anticipate it. It's part of the game, and we still have to collect our outs. But if we see that consistently with an infielder, what are you guys going in there and starting to break down?
Drew, I think a lot of what you said is on the money. A big part, if I see that happening, and it does happen, there's guys at our level, and you'll see it at the high school level, and guys are, you do find guys who are inconsistent with that timing. And first thing I would to take a look at is that's a misjudgment of the ground ball that was hit to them. All right, that's a player who's drifting towards first and the ball's lagging behind. It's because, like you said, they didn't get to that spot when they thought the ball would get there, and that's the misjudgment of either the pace or maybe the hops that we've talked about in the past. Identifying which ground ball it is will go a long way in getting there on time. So it might not be a physical issue or a talent issue. It might just be an identifying which ground ball that they're getting and putting the skills that they've learned to catch that ground ball correctly. There are a lot of different drills, and I know we have some, we've talked about ones in the past, and I'll touch on one today that I use with some of our guys. If guys have trouble catching a ball we talk about over our left eye, just left of the center of our body. Usually it's because they didn't get around the ball enough. Now, in the old days, you talk about bananing around and getting a big loop around the line of the baseball that's coming at you. We just want to step to the right of the baseball so we could see the pace, see the hop, Just get one step to the right of that baseball and then work through it. And that's where we want to time it up as we go towards first. One thing we do, I tell the guys, take your throwing hand, put it behind your back. All right. And that's the first thing they do. Now we're going to catch the ball truly with one hand. And you'll see the first couple of ground balls, they'll catch the ball over their right knee and it'll feel very awkward. It won't feel correct. Because if you catch the ball correctly with one hand, you want to catch it because you want to catch the ball on the left side where your glove is. That'll feel natural. Once you start crossing your midline, it starts to feel unnatural. All right, so that's one thing I do with guys, and there won't be a lot of communication on my end. We'll say, okay, we're going one hand right now, and I'll let them just feel it out on 10, 12 ground balls, and you'll start to see the drill correct itself to this start to feel awkward. I got to catch the ball here. How do I do it? Just 10, 12 ground balls, they'll start to feel, oh, I got to catch it out here. How do I get my body in that path? And the drill will start to correct itself on that. That's one I like to use.
I love that. And to your point, like for the listeners, what Coach Perillo was just showing there as well is when that ball when your glove side wrist starts to work back to the right side of your body, if you were to just do that standing up, you could feel the tension in my shoulder and my left elbow, right? It's very tight and tense, but also if the eye of the glove is underneath your index finger, that eye of the glove can no longer see the ball. It gets more shallow and shallow and shallow. So there's a lot of things there that we don't want to work on that won't help you be efficient, okay? So I think that's a really good visual. That's a really good drill for these guys to work on. And Coach Turner, if you want to talk about the step back flow, we'll elaborate on that. But as far as like the ball is on a line, you're going to identify that the ball hits the bat, hits the earth. That's the line we're talking about, guys. And it's nothing crazy. Like Coach said, it's a step to the right. We'll say just clear your left eye. Like as simple as that. Whatever line you see, clear your left eye. And like it's almost like you're opening the door to the information you need, whether it be speed or shape. So I think, some kids, and there's a lot of debate on this topic. Some people be like, just run at the ball and catch it and go to first. I understand what you're saying. I think that's more out of a frustration of kids getting too far or stepping too far to the right side of the ball. So say the ball sits straight at us and they're running 3 lanes to their right. Of course, that's not going to be what we're teaching our kids. And a coach has the responsibility that he has to stop that right away and educate them on what getting around the ball really means. Okay. So I'm a big proponent of clearing the left eye, seeing shape, speed, creating rhythm, working back towards first. I think it allows kids to see the ball better and create momentum versus running towards home. Because I almost think that's why they catch balls off the side, is because they might collide with the ball. What do you guys got on that? So, Coach Turner, you want me to take? You got it.
Yeah, so just really quick with the younger kids that I see, they're not very strong in their legs yet. So when they do go to the right left field, a lot of them, they just fall forward when they go to the left. So they end up on with all their weight on their left side. So they don't have any, they don't have any of their weight in their right hip to be able to get their body going towards their target, which a lot of times, because they fall forward, they end up fielding it on the right of center or to their right. So something that's helped with the younger kids, with me, is getting that PVC pipe, having their right hand on it, really getting that load into that right hip, and they have to balance on that right foot. And then I'll set up a cone where it's just to their left of center, to where I roll the ball, and their gloves are already presented to the ball, and they just got to take their left foot to it. And then we will start with just going left foot to it, and then we will pause at contact, and then from there we'll have to shuffle through and get to our power position. And then once they get comfortable with that, it's actually funny because a lot of the kids are like, man, my right hip hurts. I'm really sore. Yeah, because you're not, we are young. We're building strength there where we should have it. So what the younger kids does was work a lot with me on that problem.
Colin, I absolutely love that drill. And for viewers listening to this, if I'm standing straight up, right, and I have a PVC pipe or even a bat out in front of my right hip, my elbows straight, my arms straight out in front of me, then I sink, I get to soft knees, And then now what that allows me to do when I hold that fungo or bat in front of me, it creates stability to allow the infielder to load their sink into their right hip to feel what it's like. And now they can almost just hover their left heel wherever the heck they want to strike, depending upon the angle the ball comes in. Because guys, it's a flow infield play. It's a transfer of weight, right? It's a glide from our right to left hip. But it has to happen with control, and it happens really quickly. If it happens prematurely by a split second, it just causes a host of issues. That's a fantastic drill. One thing we like to do with all of our infielders from the youth to professional is what we call the step back flow. Me and Coach Turner talk about this all the time. And if you could just envision a PVC pipe or a white line on the earth, the infielder just starts right directly in front of that white line. Okay. And all we're trying to do, guys, is bring a lot of awareness and context to the last two steps of the ball, right, left, catch. Okay. That's our fielding intersection. So boom, they'll start right in front of that white line. They'll go to level 2, which is a nice athletic position. From there, they don't move until the ball's rolled at them. Okay. So if we start out with a roll 20 feet out in front, if they go early, they're moving before they know where the ball is. You're dancing to a song that's not playing. So that's our cue. As soon as that ball gets rolled, now we step backwards. Actually, we go right, left behind that white line. Are we going to do that in the game? Of course not, but we're generating momentum. But it's also a little buffer period for the eyes to identify lane and speed to now step through that ball and sync up your right, left catch. All right. So say the ball's rolled straight at me. Boom. I identify the ball's out of the hands. I go right, left. I see speed, and then I organize right, left catch. And there's so much, and we go glove side, we go backhand, we go different patterns. There's a lot of variations of that, but the concept is to be really good at right, left catch. Sometimes I'll slow the ball down and they'll go right, left catch forward with another right, left catch, right, left. They'll go right, left, right, left, right, left, and then catch, which is great. Attack the ball, but it's not the drill. The constraint of the drill is to only sync up right, left catch. So in reality, they have to step backwards, right, left, load their hips, and show patience and timing for that ball to travel into their fielding triangle. So that's a drill we do every day, whether it's just a warm-up or it's actually a skill development tool. But that's a drill we love to do. It helps kids bring context to that right, left catch. And you could start to figure out, is it posture for me? Is it presentation, glove presentation timing? Is my right, left not in sync with the line the ball is coming? So is it weight shift? There's a lot of cool things within that drill that you could identify and start to address. Anything else on that, guys? As far as like, I mean, we understand that fielding the ball on the right foot is not ideal. It's going to cause a lot of issues through up the kinetic chain. Is there anything we want to weigh in on that question?
I think just to circle back a little bit, because I love all the points you guys have touched on too, and just to offer, like, I guess the cues that we kind of use. But I think that Pro hit the nail on the head when it just comes down to a lack of timing and lane recognition, and then just a lack of rhythm, ability to read the speed of the ball off the bat, ability to sync up with that ball. And the ball, we're not on offense anymore. The ball is dictating what we're doing, as opposed to us kind of being able to match it right away. The cue that always works best for me is, we talked about lanes on a different episode, going through all 6 lanes. Recognize which lane the ball is going to be in, and then you don't want to get to that lane until it's time to field the ball. So you want to kind of get to the lane next to it and then intersect through that lane as you're fielding the ball. I think if you get to that lane too early, now when you're starting to go to first, you're leaking out of that lane while the ball's still in that lane. So Drew, I know you actually taught me this when I was playing, but you want to, let's say the ball's hit to lane 2, you want to get to lane 3, kind of hang out there and then intersect through that lane as you're fielding the ball. Similar to the way a shortstop doesn't want to, when he's turning 2, doesn't want to get to the bag too early and come through it before he has the ball. So try and get to a lane, hang out there, and then intersect through that lane on the diagonal towards first base. Obviously, we're infield in and we're going straight towards home plate. It's going to be a little bit different, but on a routine ground ball to first base, intersecting through that ball just to create a sense of timing. And I think the PVC drill is the best drill you can do. I've done that with 8-year-olds. I've done that with kids in the Cape. And every single kid likes that drill because it creates awareness to that timing of that intersection. And I just try and get them working on that diagonal to first base, and they really, really seem to like it. And then from there, just to develop rhythm, you can kind of take that drill and expand it. One thing I like to do is I like to explain to kids, like we're not starting in that right left position. You have to get there. So we kind of explain there's like 3 parts to getting to that position. The pre-fielding, there's the sprint where you got to close the distance to the ball and go attack it. Then there's like your breakdown where you kind of stop your momentum, and then there's the right left. So I'll maybe have them start it short, move the PVC pipe up 15 feet in front of them, and then I'm another 15 feet past that. And they'll sprint up, chop their feet, kind of like in the 1 step over, 1 lane over, like Prillo's talking about. And then once they start chopping their feet, I'll roll the ball, and then they'll go right, left over the PVC. So you can kind of take that drill and expand it a little bit.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome. And then the chop, 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 I feel like that's a really, it's a tool. It's a tool. It's not for every ground ball. For me, it is like an ability to regain body control to then make a change of direction act. It's the ability to allow the eyes to identify shape and speed a little longer. It's timing and rhythm. Okay. It's not for every ground ball. Kids get caught up in that, and then maybe they miss the opportunity to advance closer to the ball.
exactly. And there's different terminology. Coach Luke Cologne, he's on Instagram. He's out of Jersey, really good infield guy. He calls it the hip swivel. Wagner, the guys like to call it the chop, chop, chop. So you can kind of call it what you want, but it's exactly right. You can't go right from a full sprint into your right, left over the PVC. So it's just whatever you want to call it, but that little buffer to regain control before you approach the right, left into your field.
Now that you mentioned that, and we've been talking a lot about being too early, right? But I think if you're early, you could be late. And, and that's the catch-22 with the hip swivel. That's the catch-22 with the chop, chop, chop. You could open up the door for being late. And what late looks, late could be a lot of things. Like you catch the ball deep, you collide with the ball, or just your left foot gets stuck behind your left hip, and now you're feeling it tangled. So I think, that's just part of it. I think we just got to continue to bring awareness to timing and rhythm with pace and right, left catch go. The game gives you the first line. If intersections, when 2 lines cross, the game gives you the first one, which is the ball rolling on the earth. And then your right, left catch is what creates that fielding intersection, the line going to your target. That's awesome. I think we're pretty good with that question. Let's move on to the next one. That was great. This one's from Pat W. out of San Diego. Pat, thank you. And he said, he's a player. He said, I'm having trouble throwing the ball consistently across the diamond. The ball is tailing on me. Who wants to start with this one? And this is just a general, we'll give a few ideas on to maybe what's going on. And we obviously don't see you, but we'll bring as much context as we can to this question.
I'll take this one. It sounds, just because I've made that same throw he's talking about.
Been there, done that too, Pat. Don't worry.
Sounds like his feet are stuck. And if your feet are stuck, I think the first thing that comes to mind is, we talked about the 3 zones, recognition as soon as the ball's hit and giving yourself a chance to be in the right position to make the right play. So recognition off the bat, is it a charge play? Is it a routine play? Is it a drop step play? And then using the right foot pattern accordingly. And then from there, are you getting out of that position? Like we talked about, are you on time so you can work through the ball? If you're making the wrong decision, then you're gonna have the wrong foot pattern and you're gonna be stuck to begin with. But then even if you are in the right position, making the right decision with your footwork, are you on time to where you can get through it? I think there's a lot of different ways you can work on that. Just doing the zones at Wagner to warm up. Every time I hit a ball, the whole infield would have to yell the zone, especially the guy fielding the ground ball, 1, 2, or 3. So just training the mind to recognize it. And then there's just some other drills to work on. I think getting through the ball, having your foot downhill, making sure your left foot is in front of your right foot so you can work in a straight line and not get tied up or have to cross over. The PVC pipe drill we just talked about is great for that. It's really emphasizing getting the left foot out in front of the PVC pipe further than the right foot. And then another drill we did at Wagner just to work on getting through the ball is we did this at individuals every fall. So I would just have them start in that position with the left toe up, and we would do med ball throws and just have them drive through that toe and throw the med ball as far as they could towards first base. And then they'd have a partner and he would throw it back, and just to feel what it's supposed to feel like to drive through a ball with momentum and energy and then throw that ball. And then when we'd go from that to just a regular throw, it felt super easy. So I think it's just recognition of the ground ball, untangling your feet, and then working through the ball are super, super helpful for that. But yeah, that's kind of what I've done a million times before. So
coaches,
All stuff that totally agree with. I think that's, you always look at the start of, recognizing ground ball, that stuff. Once you catch the ball, I'll start there. Let's check to see where the transfer is. Are you bringing the ball up to the midline of your body, or is it here? All right, you want to make sure you're transferring the ball and breaking your hands midline of the body. That's first part of the throwing, is that when you break your hands. One drill that I think that can help if you find that you're inconsistent with your throws is we shorten up our guys. So I'm rolling the ball 15 feet away from them. They catch the baseball, and then maybe in between that player and first base, probably about 30 feet in front of in between those two is a cone. And I have our players, I did this with Drew, I did this with Turner, catch the baseball, and then we glove tap with a shuffle. All right, we do it 3 times. You can't throw the ball until you glove tap and shuffle 3 times. What that does is it gets you on rhythm. It gets you on rhythm that helps you break your hands at the right time. So as we shuffle, we glove tap, we glove tap, and then we throw. And as you glove tap, you're gaining ground. Because that'd be the next thing I check is that guy gaining ground, or is he just standing straight up, stepping and throwing, and that arm slot's not where it needs to be? All right, so those are all the 3 things that I would look at if I have a player who's very inconsistent on his throws. Where is he transferring breaking his hands? Is he gaining ground? And is he on rhythm as he's breaking his hands?
To that point, Coach, I remember that drill vividly. We still do this to this day. And then I remember how you would scale it tempo-wise. So that was 3, right? That was just to give them a few more reps to identify and build awareness. And then we would scale it to 2, and then we'd scale it to 1, and then we would scale it to none, which is you fielding the ball, it hits your palm, you take it out. That's 0 glove taps. And you got to be able, because if you can do 3, you could do 2, you could do 1, you could do 0. It's just the ability of being in time and in sync and rhythm. Love that drill. To the point of everything we've said, one drill we use is the box drill. And I got this from Coach Lou Colon. I don't know where he got it or if he was the inventor. Thank you, Coach Lou, Coach anyone. But the box drill is just, if you think about 4 cones set up, think about you're starting at a base, and your right foot goes to the base, your left foot goes to a wide, good level 1 fielding position. And then there's a box in front of you. And if I'm standing there, I get to level 1, opportunity to work on glove posture, loading the right hip, left toe up, hands out in front of my eyes. And then I say, hey, you're going right to left to target. And they're like, okay. I'm like, say it back, right to left, right to right. Oh, no. What is this supposed to be? No, right to left to target. Exactly. Now, when I say go right to left to target. And the first one, they go to their top left corner, right? That's where their target's going to be. And then, sometimes we want to get our feet parallel to the right to left to target, the left side of that square. But sometimes they land with their front foot pretty far away from that top left cone. And I ask, hey, look at your foot. They look down. I'm like, hey, this foot's pretty far away from our target, right? It's off to the left. How could that affect your throw? Oh, I might fly open and throw it up, sail it up right, or spike it to my bottom left. Exactly. So we do that drill in synchronization with the step back flow. Because guys, what Coach said, where you break your hands is super important, all right? But also where your front side breaks is pretty important as well. If you're going to pull the ball out of your glove with your hand, like your front side has to sync up with that, and that's your target. We see a lot of guys when they go to throw overcompensate with their front side, and it leads to different outcomes, right? Like sometimes it just flattens out their arm, and their right arm is flat, and that's side arm, and you'll see a lot of arm side run. Also, sometimes they overcompensate and they chuck it up and right. So those are things to think about. Like when you break your hands, get your front side on your target, and then clear or tuck that front side with high intent to allow your elbow to get to a good slot to where that right elbow is either in line with your shoulder or slightly above or below. Like there's give there, but it can't be dramatically high above your shoulder. It can't be dramatically low unless you have trunk tilt. Lastly, doing drills, just stop being so scared to freaking finish your throw. Everyone throws the ball and then peels off really quick to the end of the line. Just sit there and finish your throw so you can get backspin. If you're in practice or in a group setting, a lot of kids are in a rush to get back to the end of the line. Collect your out, finish your throw so you can see some backspin and carry on it. Anything on that, coaches? All right, so just in general, guys, it's a lot of timing, rhythm, tempo. It's awareness. It is rhythm, control, and then it's stuff we got to be working on every day. The things we talked about in this podcast are all things that should be part of your daily drills, whether it be a warm up, whether it be a segment in one of your stations. But a lot of these things you guys could all control, and it's a matter of how much effort you put into it. That was awesome, guys. I think there's just so much value in that episode and tangible things for our listeners to walk away with and work on. We all want to hear from you guys. Continue to reach out, DM us, comment on the post at our Instagram. We're active on there. Please continue to ask questions so we could help you guys. All right. Have a great holiday, guys. We'll talk to you soon. See you next session.